Hello, this is Bob Burchett, owner of the infamous Burchett Radio Electrical Telegraph Museum, Torrance, California. Here to take you on a very brief YouTube tour of our museum. This is 40 years of an unfocused collector, starting with medical instruments, quack doctor's equipment, including very high-powered spark units that generated very high voltage. Apparently these were used for cauterizing and other things. Hearing aids, not an unusual item. Won't need to mention you can stop this at any time and view more closely. 1924 Thompson Minuet. Trying to move slowly here. Hollywood signed memorabilia. Little red skeleton in here, near and dear to our hearts. Slide rules. Various presidents and money. Back in the center, we have our Victor, Victrola, Beltona, graphophone, gramophone, cameraphone, and other vintage special record players. All wind up, of course. Back down the aisle, we come to our closely guarded area by our Civil War replica cannon, repel intruders, singing cowboys, Gene Autry, Dale Evans, Roy Rogers. Back down through here, speakers, phonographs. Move on up to the upper levels here. A lot of Masonic items. I'm a Mason, and I collect a lot of Masonic memorabilia, including what I believe to be all of the Masonic music on Edison, diamond discs, and cylinders. Bing Crosby one-tube phonograph, Echophone, office intercom system, various beehives and other office equipment. My first radio ever, Radiola 20. Edison Amberola cylinder, Pathé. Edison diamond disc, Victor. Beltona, made in Ireland, one of the few items. Wire recorders, paper records, commemorative, like World War II, this lovely Salvation Army item. Needles and needle tins and packages. Down through here we have more radios, cylinder equipment, and a quick walk down this aisle because we got a lot to cover. YouTube gives you very little time. Coming down the back stretch, have more Hollywood. 8-track tape player. Some of you will remember that. Little Orphan Annie. Great stuff. A lot of signed Hollywood. My, that doesn't look like it's coming out very well with the glare. Have to work on that. Transistor radio, still in the box, never opened. Carbon arc projector and more Hollywood. Toys. Mazda Magic Lantern projector. A lot of Magic Lantern slides and toys and games. A little bit of Disney, McDonald's, records. Some Christmas tree lights, fluorescent they claim, somehow I doubt that. First kids record player made on magnetic media, prelude to the 8-inch magnetic floppy disk. It actually will record on an 8-inch floppy. More series string Christmas lights. When one goes out, they all go out. What a great invention. Christmas tree lights started in the late 1800s. Black memorabilia, very difficult to collect. Radio keg. It's like a beer keg. Got a good little AM radio in it. Edison and other vintage Mazda light bulbs dating to 1887. More phonographs on this side. A little hard to see. Now, over into here we have home appliances. There we go. Let it brighten up a little bit. Early irons, sad irons, toasters, other home appliances. Canned drinking water used during the nuclear crises. Money. Batteries, and the first flashlight ever invented by Eveready, Union Carbon, Union Carbide. Have carbide lamps, carbide, early flashlights. The Eveready company was into everything, including DDT pumps. Something every home should have. To go with it, we have our can of DDT. Of course, who doesn't? Really early radio and vacuum tubes, one-tube sets, Audions, DeForest, a signed book by Lee DeForest, quite a prize. Nice item there. Father of radio. Nice vacuum tube collection. Many of these donated. Some of the radios have been restored and are up working. More tubes. Toy box, Mickey Mouse Club. Pushcart toy box. Quite a nice relic. Very little Mickey Mouse Club stuff out there. Lots of telegraphy. We enjoy our vintage telegraphy, starting, of course, with the landline and through the wireless. Here are gas lamps. Coleman. The real ones to collect are this one here. Uses mica as the original shade. Gas lamps. A lot of Gaslight. We call this Gaslight Alley. Have a lot of Coleman lamps and other manufacturers that were along there with them. This is Gaslight area back in here with our various types of pull chain and other gas lights, including the world's largest gas light, the Intensio, made by Welsbach, Baron von Welsbach. Got to have a couple of typewriters. No home should be without. Got our Oliver Visible down there. Lots of pretty vacuum tubes, many in the original boxes, many of them donated, including what I believe to be a complete set of the Arcturus True Blue series. We have all the way back to VT1, Western Electric. Down the backstretch here, more Telegraph, a lot of Western Union memorabilia. Plenty of insulators, got to have insulators. Plenty of nice hanging insulators. And on into test equipment. Telephone, telegraph, radio, vintage communications radios. We have back into the Motorola, GE, RCA, Link, vintage one- and two-way communications. Here's your radio set testers. Plenty of test equipment for the electronics guys. Proverbial 20 pounds of equipment in the 5-pound bag. Very proud of that. Dolly Parton back there guarding the property. Now around the corner here, police call box and fire call box on the other side. Here's cameras. Got to have cameras. Cameras started in the 1840s, used to photograph the Civil War with daguerreotypes. We have early Polaroid, first year Polaroid, 1948. We have the first one of those. This is actually made by Kodak. That's why it's over here. It's a code disc where they recorded voice. No one has ever been able to recover those voices. Quite a unique item. Early cameras and movies. Crystal radios. A lot of transistor radios. Here we are at Hallicrafters. Got a special little case for Hallicrafters, including their fairly rare clock radio. Got the first transistor radio here, the TR1, made in 1954, and a curtain burner, as it's well known, 2-tube radio with a resistor line cord that would catch fire. Very wonderful device. Every home should be without. You don't even want one of those things. Here we are at tube-type radios, mostly portables, a lot of nice portables, including Caitlin. We all started with vacuum tubes. Clock radios down this aisle. Got a whole row of clock radios. Some of these things are incredibly ugly by modern standards, but they do represent an era. And they're very pretty in the eye of the beholder, of course. Say, kids, what time is it? Howdy doody time. Autographed copy of Bob Hope's book, I Owe Russia $1,200. Quite a nice item. More tube-type radios with the battery still in them, just as found. There's our 40,000 volt capacitor. Someone kindly shorted the top of it so we wouldn't kill anyone. Vintage thermometers and store memorabilia. Slowly panning back down this aisle. We have Bill Clinton guarding this aisle, and our grandmother clock. Grandma doesn't seem to work well anymore. See if we can wind her and wake her up. A lot of trivia. Very hard to display some of the trivia in the display cases. When you come here, be sure and look everywhere. It's all over. Yeah, we'll go down the back area there. Say hello to Bill and Indiana Jones. There's our fire call box hiding behind Bill. Recording instruments. I happen to like recording instruments. There's our brass instruments. Okay, down TV row. Famous Sylvania Halo had a cold cathode fluorescent tube in it. Instant start. Dimmable. Not bad for 1957. TV works. A few telephones. The larger ones are in this collection. All-American Fiddleback, 1895. Radio direction finders. Not many hams know that Swan Electronics made an RDF. Unique item. A Pelco Heathkit. Very nice little Heathkit. And here's our telephone stands. You sit and talk on the phone with some pretty bizarre telephones. Okay, here's our Philco. We got half of a Philco TV. Still looking for the chair side part for that guy. Oh, Dolly. Television repair instruments and alignment equipment. Gotta have a Predicta. Everybody has one. Videosphere. Admiral. Test equipment. Helicrafters with channel 1. Lots of TVs in here with channel 1. Looking down the back aisle, it's TV row on one side and tube-type radios on the other. Let's see if we can get the vintage tube radios. A couple nice items, including a recently found Tesla radio made in Czechoslovakia. Wonderful prize. And we got it working. Found the tubes and got her going. Down the back aisle TV row. More TVs with channel 1 on them. Not much room left for more television sets. Pretty tough to collect those guys. A lot of pretty signs showing the era. TV radio service, we use RCA electron tubes. TV magnifiers. You magnified your little set so it would appear much bigger. They did too. Motorola all-transistor TV, and in tiny one-point type it says the rectifier tube. Couldn't get 30 kV out of a transistor in those days. 1949 Spartan 12-inch reflector mirror in lid. You can see both pictures there. TV set was actually in here, pointed upward at the mirror. Very nice item. 1930 lifeboat radio made by RCA with 4 Type 10 tubes in it. Wonderful prize. Brand new, never used. Aerotron, one of the earliest aeronautical base radios. Here's our military, Navy, a lot of Navy stuff, and aircraft. There's our Lear Avion, hand-wired, 1937 Aero wood box radio you carried on board your aircraft to talk on the radio. It really did transmit in the 300 kilocycle range and received in the 3 megacycle range. back look down Crosley Field. All the Crosley radios, some newer. Crosley still makes radios. Nice item donated by Larry Tinkler, K6LXT. Claimed to be a prototype SW5 James Millen, all solid brass. Worth a look. Very pretty inside, all restored, working quite well. Now, here's our 6-blade brass fan. 6-blade is hard to come by. And man, can that make a hurricane. Quite a nice item. Looking back, we have Maytag. We support Maytag. We have a gas engine Maytag washer. There are the tools for it. Drive-in movie speakers and more rare drive-in movie heaters. Fire extinguishers of all shapes and sizes, but a particular attention to carbon tetrachloride, which of course are quite illegal, banned, and other things, but many of them are still full. Nice item, put the fire out and then kills you. Advertising rulers, S&H green stamps, smoking memorabilia. My wife and I are from Virginia, so that was the tobacco capital there for a good bit. Early radios. There's a nice wall-hanging tube tester donated by WB6SLC. Thank you very much. Hope you're looking, Jeff. Nesbit's. We support Nesbit's. No, really not quite sure why. It's not a high collectible, but everybody seems to collect Coke, so we like Nesbit's. Even have full bottles out of the 60s, dating all the way back to the 1930s when they started. Nice Bandmaster Deluxe. Cute radio. Radiola 2. Lovely Radiola 2, complete with all the original headphones and parts. Here's our Collins S-Line. We'll come back to that in just a moment. There's me, WB6SLC. These are walkie-talkies, earliest of CB walkie-talkies. Some you built yourself, so you could get a Cub Scout merit badge. First computers, single board computers. Always dangerous in here, things fall on you. Early tube-type radios, some copies of the All-American 5. These are Japanese tube radios before the Japanese transistor radio, made famous by Alan Sherman. Henry 2K, donated by AD6NR, along with the Collins S-Line component, which is the right side here. Thank you, John. And you have it in the Collins desk. Some great artifacts up here on the top row. Early meters, a Sky Traveler, a UHF radio, UHF transmitter made on 2 meters. More meters, Gonzet, Heathkit, Morse code wine, not old. Nice new item, Globe Scout, model 65, goes all the way down to 160. Regency, early converter, featured in the magazine it's sitting on. This is a working row here with our antenna tuner to support the Henry 2K. Nice new Heathkit scope. Collins MBF. Beautiful mint original 6-meter MBF, known as man's best friend. Mite. Teletype. Aircraft. Lovely item. Operating positions. We also have a KWM2 and a 30L1, the companion speaker power supply. Here's your Collins desk with your 2 operating position. Got plenty of keys. And can't pass up an opportunity to mention 1928, there was no Federal Communications Commission. This is a license for my mentor personally, 6CPY, issued by the Department of Commerce. A wonderful prize, very rare. Quite proud of Alexander Hagel, who got me started in this. Toys. Lots of toys. Got a vintage, really nice item here. This is charcoal briquette stove, invented by Henry Ford, wanting to know what to do with all that sawdust. Finally found a good use for it. Automobile stuff. Here's a Meisner recorder. This actually recorded. One side is the recorder, one side is the playback. It's the back side of our toys. Cute radio here. We call this a radio table. It's hidden inside. Looking back. New in the box, never used Samsonite Collins suitcase. Back view showing our Kalex clock. And on to the electrical memorabilia. Got some nice electrical memorabilia in here. Light bulbs, Edison kit to build a vintage light bulb. Your early key switches for your electrical stuff. For the handicap, we have an elevator to get up here. Bring anyone. Edison electric light. Don't try to light with a match. We have flash bulbs. Got quite a flash bulb collection. Don't know if they work or not. They could be defective. We haven't tested them. Last look down the aisle. As we head out, please do come and visit us. Give me a call, 310-534-4456. Call me up when you're in the Los Angeles area. As the man said, love to have you. This is Bob Burchett with the Burchett Museum, showing our final item, our vintage telegraph keys, including a lovely British Railroad key under glass, double current key, and our Vibroplex, and the knockoffs. Thank you very much for taking your time to view our hobby.